love the word patient. Every time we turn around, the Fed says patience, as if it is a virtue, at least for central bankers. Rana is with us. Rana Foroohar, the associate editor at the Financial Times and CNN's Global Economic Analyst. Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
What did he say? I mean, the minutes made it clear the way they are not split, but they are undecided.
Yeah.
We had, of course, the vice chair on this programme, Richard Clarida, saying again, they can afford to wait.
Yeah. Well, patient, I think, means you're not going to see rate hikes, I don't believe, in the coming year. I think the big question is, will you see rate cuts at some point? And that gets to what's going on in the overseas markets. And as you said, we're seeing weakness in China. We're seeing weakness in Europe. The Fed chair talked about the volatility in the financial markets itself, which actually goes to an interesting point. A lot of people think that if you see a market crash now, it's actually going to have a big effect on the real economy because people have so much wealth in stocks at the moment.
OK, so this is also tied in, though, with the balance sheet question.
Yep.
And without getting us too deep into the weeds, the issue, of course, is whether or not, firstly, there is an implicit monetary, inherent monetary tightening in letting the balance sheet run down, but also the issue of management of the rundown.
Right, and management is interesting because one of the things that the Fed has been trying to do really carefully in the last few years, Janet Yellen started this, was to communicate where rates are going. And we thought that we were entering a period in which we were going to see slow but steady hikes, right? A few months ago, we would have been talking about that. Now we're seeing a halt. Patience generally means you're not going to see a rate hike in the next few quarters. Will you see cuts? And then does that undermine the Fed's credibility and create uncertainty in the markets?
The trade war, such as it is, has created uncertainty. Brexit has created an element of uncertainty. The slowdown, the slowdown that's taking place in China is the largest uncertainty. But the US economy, let's be fair, is even with slowdown, is still going to grow quite fast.
It's kind of miraculous. No, not fast, but healthy, particularly. Okay, we're late stage in a cycle, right? Cycles generally last 10 years. We're into the 10th year of a recovery. Weakening overseas growth. Most S&P 500 companies get the majority of their growth from overseas. But there's a couple things. You still have a little juice with tax cuts. That's going to peter out this year. You have companies doing an enormous amount of share buybacks. That artificially pushes up the price of the shares. What the political situation is going to be in the U.S. is going to be interesting. As you see the Democratic candidates start to funnel through and we see, okay, are we going to be talking about 70% wealth tax in a mainstream political election? Right. That's a big question.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you. As we continue tonight, Elon Musk